Hello, beautiful souls. Okay, so we're talking more eclipse now. I want to get into a few things that will help you navigate where you are, what may be coming up for you, and also give you some resources that you can use, you can tap into as we do this preparatory 3 days between now and the eclipse on Monday. So if you are not already aware, the eclipse is a new moon, total solar eclipse happening in the sign of Aries, which is making it even more confronting and really palpable in the physical body, in the mind, in your emotions, in your energy field. So just know, as I always do say, is you are not alone. Okay, this is not something that is just happening to you. It is happening to everyone in their own ways. Okay, varying degrees, but this is what this time is all about. I wanted to come here to let you know that we're going to be gathering on April the 8th, but also leading up to that on Saturday and Sunday. More details will be inside the Facebook group. So if you're not already part of the Elevate Facebook group, it's Elevate with the number 8, spelled ELEV, the number 8, TE. Go to my Facebook group, register for free. It says that it is for women, it's a women's circle, which is true, but for this event, if you're a guy and you want to participate, please go through the process of registering anyways, and I will get you set up so you can join and participate in what we're going to be doing together. Okay, so we're going to be doing some stuff to help prepare your physical body, prepare your mind, prepare your consciousness and your energy so that you can make the most of all of these beautiful high frequency light waves that are going to be coming forward to really help boost your consciousness, our consciousness, and the whole playground that we are immersed in and creating together as we move through this eclipse portal and then move into the days ahead. All right, so sign up at Elevate, the Facebook group. DM me if you have any trouble signing up for that, and we're going to go through this together. So what I want to talk about today is just a little bit more about the eclipse and what you may be feeling. So some of the stuff that we were talking about previously, yeah, it's physically feeling uncomfortable, waking up with energy and waking up with maybe just emotions and not really sure where they're coming from. There is a lot of fear that is out there right now, not necessarily legitimate. You have something to fear, or that you're thinking about things that are things that make you fearful. Although sometimes that's it. You can actually just be processing old residue of past stuff that you were fearful about. Insecurities and old programming that is just like bubbling up, like almost like effervescence from the ego mind, going into the flesh body, into the emotions, and just literally coming up to be diffused. So know that you're not losing your mind. In case you've been thinking that or wondering, like, why do I feel like so unstable? There is an ungroundedness that is coming forth right now. And that is just, it's a destabilizing energy that is very intentionally designed to do just that, destabilize you, so that anything that comes up now is going to be looked at, right? And is going to be transmuted. Going to be cleared, released, deprogrammed, depending on what it is, all of the above, so that you can be freer and clearer as you move into the eclipse on Monday. So, as I said, we're in the down cycle now of this sine wave. And so it makes complete sense for you to be feeling uncomfortable. When you come out of a high cycle, which is something like the equinox in March, feelings are elevated. There's a lot of expansion. There's a lot of heart opening. Things feel good. There's a lot of like creative ideas coming forward, downloads coming through about things you could do, new potentials for you, new beginnings. And remember, this is a new moon that we are going to be having this eclipse on. So it couldn't be more perfect. You've got a new moon, which is all about new beginnings. You've got this lower part of the sine wave, this integration phase that we're moving through, which is actually like a birth canal, right? Squeezing you, turning you into that diamond, birthing you through into a more refined, higher frequency, more authentically emanating energetic signature of who you are. That's all happening, but it's uncomfortable, right? Just like being a piece of coal that needs to be turned into a diamond, it's uncomfortable. So just know it will pass. We will be through this phase soon, but it's just going to make you feel a bit wobbly, potentially. If you're not already feeling a bit wobbly, you might. Just know it's fine. And some of the best things you can do, of course, is to go and just ground, put your feet on the earth, drink water, hydrate, right? And some other things that we'll talk about. But one of the things that is coming up really big right now, and that I want to encourage you to look at, is your identity. So much of our identity is tied into old, outdated systems, structures, and ways of being collectively. And you are being asked now to look at all of it. How many of you, I'd love to know in the comments, how many of you are second guessing what you are doing in terms of your career, in terms of your vocation, in terms of your business? How many of you are wondering, what am I even doing? How many of you are second guessing your dreams? Where coming out of March, you may have felt so elevated, so on fire with your vision and like, this is it. I'm finally going to do that thing. I can feel it. I can see it. I'm going to do it. And now here you are, a few days before this eclipse is taking place, going, who was I kidding? I can't do that. That was a pipe dream. If you're feeling any of that, know that it's totally normal, not natural, but normal. And it's just because of the energies. Why? Because if any of those doubts, those programs, those belief systems are still active within you, as you go and try to execute on these beautiful, powerful, valid, very real, and probably right on path for you, if those are still present, it's going to get in the way. So all of this is coming up now to make it almost foolproof for you to be able to move forward and execute on these new visions, these new dreams. But you got to get the other stuff out of the way. It still has to be cleaned up, right? You want to have a blank canvas. And so that's what this time is. We're in the middle of a retrograde cycle for Mercury, which makes it so that stuff will come up, but it's also a major upgrade period. And so what you're being called to do is look at those things. So when it comes to identity, look at where are you holding on to old aspects that your ego, your mind has been telling you, but that's who I am. Is it? Look at those things and confront them. It's a time right now where you have to stop denying who you have been being, denying what you have been creating, and just be totally real. There is no shame in looking back and not preferring what you've been creating. The only shame that comes is created in the mind. It's all a lie. You don't have to buy into it. But you do have to acknowledge that, okay, I haven't been being who I want to be. I haven't been creating or having examples of what I want to create showing up in my experience. You just got to be real. Be willing to admit it, and then be willing to say, okay, I'm ready for a change. Right? Because that's what we are moving into. As we go through this eclipse passage, it is birthing us into higher potentials if we're willing to step up and meet them. And so that dead weight is still going to drag you down unless you're willing to like cauterize our connection to it. Just like cut it off. Now, the issue is the fears then start to come up. Well, if I cut off my connection to the old world, the old way of being, my old identity of everything I said I was, everything I used to identify with, whether it's my career or what I do at home or with my family or hobbies I used to have. If I no longer identify with that, well, then who am I? How will people know me? How will I be received? I'm not good enough, just the plain old me, are you? There is fear brewing that is all based on who will I be in this new world. If I follow my dream, if I let go of this thing that I'm not enjoying anymore, that feels tiring now, feels outdated, and just step into this new thing, but it's not what other people know me to do or to be, How will I be received? Big fears like this coming up. Big inner stories and dialogues. Pay attention to it. Write it down. We'll be able to work with it in the days ahead. So write it down, be aware, and stop denying them. Stop suppressing them. Let them come up. They're coming up for a reason, and just trust me. Don't deny them anymore. You don't know what to do with them, that's fine. We will do some process work in the days ahead. But just write them down. Put it on paper. The things that you're doubting. The things that you're afraid to let go of, and then start asking yourself, why? Why am I so afraid to step out of my career, or to do this, or to do that, or to take this on? Generally, it's out of fear of judgment by others. Fear of not being part of a pack of some sort. Well, we're moving out of those constructs, so get used to it. It's going to feel uncomfortable now, but it's going to feel so good and so liberating later. All right? So identity. It's also based on false beliefs of what the human experience we've been having is meant to be. So it's important to remember that. The fears and insecurities or uncomfortable feelings that come up as you contemplate the things that you want to move forward with, the life you want to be living now and moving forward, and the life that you're done with, that you're tired of, that space in between, it's built on false beliefs of what's possible, what's doable, and what's acceptable. So keep that in mind. We are moving out of causality and into, which is like cause and effect, and moving into the very first distortion-free creation cycle. What does that mean? Distortion-free means we do not need to create from false programming, false belief systems, and conditioning that was never intended to serve us in the first place. We talk about a lot about this in Awakening Eden and working with the rapid recoding process. But basically, it's all that stuff that you were taught, that you were told, that innately you know doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve anybody. That stuff needs to go. Needs to go. And so that is what is showing up right now. So this new cycle after this eclipse is a completely new playing field where we don't have to go back to the old way of doing things. In fact, if we start doing things in a different way, in a way that feels more aligned with who you are, and start speaking from that place, creating from that place, it's the first time in human history that the earth, that our energetics and this organic matrix that is what the planet really was designed to be before the distortion, it's all there to support that. So we are full of fear, really, because we don't yet believe that we can be supported by this God force, this life force, but it's the same life force that has sustained us always. It's just static free. It's just inversion free. So it's unimpeded, it's free of the distortion, free of the resistance, it's free of the old matrix, and that's all we're letting go of, is all of that static. And so it sometimes brings up a feeling of like it's too good to be true. Does that ring a bell with anybody? Right? This feeling like, oh God, I had that great idea, I had that great vision. Sometimes visions are just meant to be that, to bring up feelings of confidence and inspiration and so forth. It is true, I will say that. I'm not saying that every single idea we have is meant to be acted on completely and fully. No. But there are some, and you will know if you sit with it and it keeps coming back, that there is something within that that is designed for you to move forward with, that you're being asked to bring forward. Okay? So, the too good to be true, I'm going to ask you and invite you to challenge it. Is it really too good to be true? This thing that I just thought of the other day, that came to me in a download the other day? Is it too good to be true? Or is it quite plausible, but I'm just feeling nervous about it and insecure about it because I've never done it before. And this is the other part, right? Stepping out into fear. We have to detach from the mind. I'll tell you, this happened to me the other day. I've been planning to do a retreat, kind of a very, it's like a retreat intensive, but it's designed to detox the mind as well as detox the body with a full-on detox. But this was going to be next level. I've done these in the past, and they have been incredibly transformative. But this was going to involve like a complete evolutionary accelerator. And so I tuned in about it and asked my higher aspects, okay, timing, this and that. And then I was like, well, where would this take place? And I was given something that was exciting, really exciting. And when I thought, I'm like, oh my God, of course. Then it was coming up that it would be potentially in Brazil. Like, Brazil? I've never spent a lot of time in Brazil. However, everything else about it makes complete sense. So the idea was big in terms of newness, but it made a lot of sense. But the only resistance that was coming up was my own mind. Stories from my mind saying, well, how could you do that so quick? How could you do that? Well, what would this be like? And how would you pull this together? All the mind. All the mind. Designed to do what? To stir things up, to bring enough fear so that we stop what we are receiving in terms of inspiration or ideas or guidance, and just shut it down completely. So where are you having this in your own life? I experienced that. It was a very interesting journey. And so now I'm exploring how much of this is actually just programming and how much of this is actually a very valid request coming in from the collective that I'm receiving. My guidance and my higher aspects are saying, yeah, this is our next step. Let's go do that. Right? And you got to do the same thing with whatever it is that you are dealing with, whatever it is that's coming up for you. How much of it is just designed to get your attention? How much of it is just designed to shut you down? And what are you actually being asked to move forward with? This is a brand new way of creating. We're moving into a completely different playground. The rules from the old playground do not apply. And it's going to take us getting used to that. A little bit of practice, a little bit of feeling like unstable. But we came for this. We're built for it. So question where you're getting resistance. Where is the fear coming from? Okay. And we're going to need to basically step out into the fear, detach from the mind, and lead with your heart. And when I say lead with your heart, I'm not talking about romanticizing things. There isn't a place for romanticizing things in my world. When I say lead from the heart, I'm talking about leading from your soul's guidance. It's that clarity, it's that stillness that allows you to receive information. And when you can turn off the fear, the clarity's there. And in the next few days and so on, I'm going to show you, and we'll do this together on how to get out of the fear and allow those visions and those dreams to come to life and start to simmer in you. So getting out of the mind and getting into the heart so that you can better navigate what's going to be showing up for you in the days and weeks and months ahead. Okay? Now, the goal is to raise our frequency, to be able to raise our frequency so our creations will match that newer, higher potential. Now, there's 3 ways that we can do this. I call it the trifecta. But basically, the first way is to clear the distortion and programming, all that density that is literally living inside of our physical body, inside of our flesh, inside of our cells in terms of cell memory. And it's also showing up in our energy. It comes out in our signature. It's just really part of who we are energetically until that stuff is eliminated, is removed. It's transmuted. It comes out in our signature. There's no way. That's where the denial part comes in. You can't lie. You can't deny it. It's there. And other people pick it up. Your creations are birthed from that signature. And so one way that we can start to correct this is by clearing the distortion programming. So the second thing we can do is exposing ourselves to higher frequencies. And in a sense, all three pieces kind of need to be present, and they all kind of balance each other out and are supportive of each other. Number two, expose yourself to higher frequencies. So what does this look like? This is like higher frequency sounds, high frequency foods. That's where the detox comes in that I was talking about earlier. I think that's a beautiful way, powerful way to upgrade your physical and energetic frequency is to do a detoxification. We were talking about, so step one, clear the distortion programming. This is more mental and energetic, you could say, right? But then doing a detox of the mind and then a detox of your physical body is another way. Detoxing. And then also just exposing yourself to higher frequencies outside of food and nutrition. Things like sound, things like, even like, right? Frequencies. Oh, I just woke up my dog. Sorry, puppy. And in addition to that, going outside, the frequency of the planet, of nature. Feeling called to go into nature makes a lot of sense. It's a very grounding, but also a very high frequency energy that is there and very supportive for us at this time. So expose yourself to higher frequencies. This also has to do with individuals. Like, who are you hanging with, right? Who are you hanging out with? What are the things you say? What are the things that they say? What are the things you are doing together? Are you exposing yourself to toxins in the way of like combustibles, consumables, right? Cannabis, junk food, whatever it may be. Those are lower frequency things, right? Everything has its place, but in this point of trying to raise your frequency, there's things you're going to want to avoid. Yeah, cannabis may be one of them. Okay? I know that's not a popular answer, but I deal with a lot of bodies and a lot of body consciousness in the work that I do with some clients and with my partner in our practice when we're dealing with bodies. And there are very few bodies that want cannabis, especially at this time. Okay, it's about raising your frequency. The third thing, the third piece of the trifecta is expanding consciousness. So being exposed to ideas, principles, things that cause your mind to expand. When your mind expands, your awareness of yourself, of the world around you expands. It expands your consciousness. Consciousness expansion causes an elevation in frequency. Clearing of density, lower energies, creates an elevation in frequency, which also causes an expansion in consciousness. So they all kind of work together. So those are some of the things that you can do. And over the next few days, we're going to work with a little bit of each of those. Maybe not the physical detox part. We'll see what we can do there. But we're going to work with some of that stuff. So if you want to participate and you want to join us in any of that, go to my Facebook group. It is Elevate, spelled E-L-E-V, the number 8, T-E. You'll find us there. Register. It's a free group. It is identified as a women's circle right now. If you are a guy and you want to participate, go through the process of adding your information. I will take it from there and I'll set it up so that you can participate with us for these events. We'll figure out a way that it works. I want to be able to support you guys as well. Any issues joining, you can just send me a DM and I will hook you up. We're going to really do some reflection, activations, and really preparing your physical body, your mental, emotional, so that you can really harness and leverage the beautiful energies that are coming through, especially on the 8th, on Monday. Okay, it's a beautiful window, and we're going to have some celebrations. It's going to be a bit of a party in one way or the other. And I want you to be able to be in the best state possible to really harness that as we go into this brand new world together. All right, sending you so much love. I'll speak with you soon.